The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting and special edition of the Power Trading Hour. What's special? I'm here today on Thanksgiving or Halloween. What is it today? It's Halloween. Anyway, it is me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And they're not quick on the up. Are they? There they are. No, that was bad. Didn't even sound right. Anyway, we will continue on, even though that didn't come off just the way I wanted it. What do we have today? We're up 2 points on the S&P cash. Volume is just 2 billion shares. So we're off 300 or 400 million shares from Thursday, Friday, in what was a light volume bounce attempt. I had some people asking me Friday if they thought we would blow up over the weekend. My thought is that, and it looked to me like it did happen, that we would have the Treasury Department and the FOMC out job owning and working and doing everything they can to make it look like nothing has happened, and that all they want to do is just slow this down. This is one of these things where the market's headed lower, and every time it heads lower, they throw some more water on the fire. But it's one of those real hot fires. It just kind of steams a lot of stuff off, dries off in a few minutes, and fires back up, and the selling comes back. Now, we're in fund buying. There are some folks that are a little confused about what fund buying is. It only works and the market only goes up if we've got more people buying stocks than selling them at the end of the month when they're doing their 401ks. There are a lot of reasons that you have fund outflows, especially when everybody needs cash, or in this case, a ton of people are buying new houses. They will sometimes sell and lend against those 401ks. But there's a company called Trim Tabs. It keeps records. And within a couple of days, we'll tell you, for the most part, whether we're going to have inflows or outflows. And it is not always an inflow month. Right now, we're looking at about treading water. So don't get real excited about higher prices for fund buying this month. Now, we will get a revised statement from them tonight. I think it's tonight. Should be tonight. This is the end of the month. That basically says what is left to buy for the next couple of days. Sometimes while you say, if you're a fund manager, you'll say I'll be 100% long the last 3 days of the month of the first 2 days of the month, or some are the last 2 days and first 3 days of the month. But it's not like something they wrote in blood. They can go out plus or minus depending on what they think will do better for them and make them look better. But like everything, there is a option to go stage right, and sometimes that happens. But right now, even though there's if you have a lot of fund buying, normally they'll push the market up real high early and just let it roll sideways until everybody that had to buy at the highs has bought. If there's just kind of wishy-washy, they will still move the market up a little bit or hold it up until that fund buying's over. So I'm not looking for lower prices unless we get some kind of shock in the next couple of days. But I think this market, left to its own devices, would probably be lower, and I'm pretty sure we're going to test that 2090 here fairly quickly on the S&P cash. It may be a couple more days. But going into an election, and a lot of indecision in traders normally resolves itself to the downside, not the upside. Anyway, what else do we have going on? Well, we need to get this party started.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1933, it's trick or treat. In one of the Wall Street's nastiest Halloween surprises, Albert Wiggin, former president of the Chase National Bank, testifies that his personal investment company had borrowed money from the Chase to short sell $8 million worth of Chase's own stock as it crumbled in the crash of 1929. The revelation of this disgraceful conduct inspires Congress to add provisions to the Securities and Exchange Act of 1934, banning corporate officers from short selling their own shares. Now they buy puts. And I'm not kidding you. Because options weren't around in there, you can still buy puts on the downside of your stock. No one ever talks about it much. Mostly because if anybody got a whiff that one of the CEOs now was buying puts on his own stock, it would be news fairly quickly, and for the most part, the directors would also find themselves in front of pitchforks by the masses for doing it. But it's not illegal, and they have found people doing it. So it still happens today. You just can't short the equity. You have to actually short with puts or an option. And the interesting thing back in 1933, even back in 1929, that if you wanted to short, you could short with a margin of 10%. So if you had $10, you could short $100 worth of stock. And they were. He took $8 million worth of Chase's own stock, but he had a great deal more. He had almost $50 million short of his own stock in that thing. He just needed $8 million to get a whole lot more. Anyway, on this day in 1933, another weasel comes to the forefront. Had some questions over news in the election front out here. Someone wondered if you could actually have 650,000 emails on a laptop. The answer is yes. If you set up your email with a POP3 account, that means you're using a client like something like Outlook or Thunderbird, or there are other programs that run on your local PC that handle your email. A lot of people use Gmail now or Yahoo Mail and just use the web interface, so everything remains on the big server out there. But the original email system out there was called Post Office Protocol version 3 or POP3, and you could set it up. And the defaults were always that it just acted like a giant download system, and it would download the email from your email provider. In this case, in the news, one that was set up specifically for them. But you know what? The defaults are always that it saves everything. You have to go in there and click on it and say, hey, I want to only hold emails for 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years or whatever. But the defaults are, I'm not deleting anything. And it looks like that's what happened in this case. Check your settings if you run a client like Outlook or Thunderbird or other things.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And a quick email out here asked me what I suspect is going to happen. I think we're just going to fool around down here at these levels, and I think both the S&P, NASDAQ, and probably the TLT will lead, but it will just gap down. It's bouncing around 131 right now. But my guess is that the TLT will gap down eventually to 128, and that's probably the first level that we'll find some kind of low in the overall markets too. But we shall see. But my guess is we're going to have some kind of yet another big event, a news event, and it's going to shock the market down to 2090 on the S&P cash. Another one of the questions that I started getting over the weekend and today was, do you really believe the Russians are doing all this hacking for WikiLeaks? And I have to say that probably one of the most interesting things I read was how one of the gentlemen in the news that wants to be the right-hand man to the president actually what his password was. And, you know, if you had a big, long password, it was tough. If the system was armored, if everything was right, it would probably take the Russians to hack it. What it doesn't take is someone to use the word password as their password. And the Podesta, I guess his name's Podesta, in the smoking gun, there was some kind of document from the government that came out, and it showed him using the default password called password for his email account. Now, the default password on Linux systems is using an ampersand for the A and a 0 for the O. But other than that, he used the default passwords. If you're getting a theme today, it is when you set these things up, the first thing you have to do is go through all the defaults and figure out what they do and understand them before you do it. But if you have a good system administrator someone that, probably worked for the government and dealt with secret things, they would know enough to make sure that you weren't allowed to use stupid passwords that a fourth grader could hack. So who knows if the Russians did it? It doesn't take much to break into a system that uses and an account that uses the default email password. Just my two things out there. Anyway, Tesla, I'll have a trifecta of Dave gets mad at things. Tesla tiles. Tesla was down a little bit earlier today. They were pushing Thursday and Friday a new system of solar tiles. Everybody knows what I think mostly about solar out here. It's a great thing if you're the only house in 100 miles in Arizona. It's probably cheaper than running huge amounts of copper cable to carry the electricity to your house. Unfortunately, solar cells, especially in very hot weather like, let's say, Arizona, will last about 10 years. Then they will have to be replaced. Now, most of these places like Solar City are setting these things up and putting everything together as if it would last 30 years, the length of the house or the length of a standard roof. That is not it. So Tesla is making these tiles to replace solar panels on roof and talking about having Solar City actually sell them. And that is the scam reason that Tesla says they need to buy Solar City. That vote, I think, is the 17th of November. If they buy Solar City, if that actually goes through, I suspect that's where Tesla will really start to slide. But these tiles for your roof, very nice looking. I'm not going to say it isn't a nice product. But the problem is, at least in North America, if you're any farther than about 20 degrees off the equator, is that you put all these tiles on your roof. The ones that are pointed east and west aren't going to get anything, and the ones pointed north are going to get absolutely nothing. So you're basically putting on 100% solar roof for something that's probably going to get about maybe, even if your house is pointed the right way, maybe 40% of the power will come from the ones actually pointed at any time during the day at the sun, if you're lucky. And, of course, in winter and cloudy environments, not so well. But there's a lot of people talking a lot of stuff and wishing, but every day you look at this stuff, solar power is about 4 to 5 times more expensive than buying it from your local power station. And, of course, if it isn't 4 or 5 times more expensive, all you're doing is making the poor bastard that lives next to you pay for it. Anyway. Just a couple of thoughts out there. Anyway, it is a mad market, and we're going to continue on out here, taking a look at some of the ones out here. We've had, again, some rather dubious news. We talked about it on Friday. I didn't get a chance to short this thing. I was busy doing something else, but when I saw this thing pop this morning, it did go across my idea to short Baker Hughes. This was the deal we talked about on Friday with General Electric. General Electric, can't even say it. General Electric was buying a portion of Baker Hughes, was not buying it. This thing got to 62.16 in the beginning, but I said this is very dubious on Friday, and they ran all the shorts, and now it's kind of back under to what it was even on Friday when this deal was rumored. I think that kind of tells you just about everything you need to know about these kind of things when they last less than 24 hours and fall like a souffle. But, there's just a lot of that going on. We're at 2126 on the S&P cash. Volume still is tepid, but it's picking up a little, 2.2 billion shares. Other stocks of interest out here, getting a little bounce on Cardinal Health that took a swan dive on Friday, but it's just coming up a bit into the gap from Friday. Same thing with Amazon. You're getting a little bit of gap fill, but I don't think much going on. A great deal of what's going on in this has to do with Mr. Kramer.
Bring me the head of the false prophet, Jim Cramer.
He was telling everybody to wait Monday and buy this. I still suspect this is headed down to $660 to $600, somewhere down in that region. Could you get back up to $800? I think, but as long as Amazon continues to spend, I suspect it is going lower. Checkpoint, nice little bounce on this guy. It's doing it with some volume already. It's pretty much matched the July 25th high. It gapped through the gap down that actually had some fairly high volume of 4.5 million shares. So you're not totally out of the woods on this one yet, but at least today you've got some decent volume and you've gotten up. And the question is whether or not you're going to hold this July 25th high. At the close, it needs to close above $84. That may or may not happen. Anyway, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. You can call me at 877-927-6648. You can also put a message in the den, and I will get to it now.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And got an email from Mike and then a couple of questions from the den. Says, this is Mike in Texas. What are your thoughts on cannabis stocks, especially the Canadian ones, fad or early crazy bull market? There's a couple issues. There's only one company that has a legal license to actually do anything. GW Pharmaceuticals, GWPH is a symbol. There are other people getting in and around marijuana stocks. I know we've got a lot of elections going on where this is on the ballot. I'm a libertarian at heart, so knock yourself out, whatever you want to do. I just don't like people lying to me that there's some medical purpose when all they want to do is smoke lots of dope, which I don't have any problem with. Just don't lie to me. What are you doing out here on GW Pharma? Well, this thing was pushed up fairly high. It was a pump and ended up being a dump by Kramer a while back. They actually did get something and a drug that's coming out. No one else is actually legal on this. And some of the problems out here, there is a ETF, not an ETF, a REIT coming out on property that's going to specially lease property to these folks. But you end up with a big problem that still hasn't been handled by the U.S. government. And that is if you're actually talking about stores that sell marijuana, even if it's legal by the state, it isn't legal by the feds. They don't have any way to put it in the bank. They don't have any way to get to you on it. There are some other people that are involved around this, and it may be a better business to be in the picks and shovels than actually being in the business itself. And that makes me think that maybe that REIT, I think that REIT is coming out in the next few weeks as an IPO. There is also, of course, this GW Pharmaceuticals that is the only one that can legally sell cannabis federally. There is also other people getting on. In fact, Microsoft has set up a giant cloud service for bookkeeping. The Intuit of selling dope. There may be more of those companies that are around there. Of the companies that are actually around marijuana at this time, I looked at them maybe 6 months ago or 9 months ago or a year, something like that. 99.9% of them were frauds. They were frauds of one kind or another. They were all penny stocks. There was nothing out there that was actually real. Like I said, this REIT thing may be fairly close. Maybe they're figuring out a way that they can actually take their rent in all cash. If something changed in the government so you could actually take credit cards, you could actually have bank accounts, it would be different. But the only thing you really know is you got a pharma stock called GWPH. It's the only legal thing right now. There may be some other companies coming out and getting it, but you had to develop in this sector. You have to get a special waiver from the government already. And I don't know of any other companies that have. There may be some, but I've Googled it, searched it. I didn't see anything that popped out fairly quickly. So I would say look at companies that are doing stuff like Microsoft into getting into software that they can sell these folks. They'll find, if it's $2 or $3 grand, I think they can probably get some money orders together and buy your product. The tough thing is going to be getting that cash or getting it on a subscription basis because of all the legal issues around it. Now, Scott's Miracle Grow is another way to actually play this sector. Scott's SMG is the symbol on it. If you want to talk about a stock that has just come off a low out here and done nothing but gone straight up for a while, this is Stock's Miracle Grow. And just because they've got a certain a certain chemistry in one of their additives for the soil that seems to work amazingly well. So again, look for stocks around the marijuana business that are legal. This one would have been one if you wanted to get back into it. It didn't really give a great signal. I was looking at this thing and thinking, well, you know what? It was pretty good. If it would have got down to $60 again, I think maybe I would have looked at this in that sector. But a nice ABC up, it's pretty much getting ready to get that. If you wanted to have a chance at buying this again, if we get a market pullback down around $75, that's where you might consider looking at it again. Now we've got a few other folks out here with questions, so we will get to that. The first one is about XIV. I do not subscribe to trying to play the volatility index for the most part against Fibonacci moves. It's a lot more about what's going on in the market. The reason why is, come on, XIV. If I can actually type it. The reason why is that you're always working with the underlying futures in the S&P 500, and they will, depending on what time of month it is, you get some permutations from the oscillator. Basically, this is all set up as an oscillator between a 24-day and a 36-day moving average now on the price of out of the money puts and calls in the S&P. Now, what I'm looking for out here is most likely to start seeing the VIX probably hold at these levels and probably hold at these levels through the election. I can't see that there's a great reason out here to think that this is going a lot lower, or the VIX underlying. But what else is going on in this? That is all the decay that happens when not much happens. And again, that's right now when you're playing this, at least to the elections, it is extremely apparent that the Fed and the Treasury are going to do all they can to do one thing. And if you listen to the Fed, they'll always say it in these few words: orderly market. What does an orderly market mean? It means that there aren't people jumping out of windows and landing on the pavement in New York City. All they want is for everybody to lose their money slowly. And that way, everybody doesn't get all bent out of shape and, of course, cause other problems that they cannot handle. So at the moment, all they want is a market that comes back and comes down slowly. My guess is that everything we've been looking at is nothing more than that, a market that is wanting to come back slowly. So I do not, although a fan of these VIX products, I am not a fan of them through the election. I suspect after the election, we're going to see them kind of have a real market that probably the Fed by then and the Treasury can no longer control. 21.27, we're flat on the S&P cash, volume at 2.3 billion shares. We came in with 4 billion shares, or 4.1 billion shares on Friday, and that should have been on a normal day 3.4. So, today, just to be equal on a Monday, I think we're probably going to be 500-600 shares short.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And as always, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can post messages in the den. What else do we have going on out here? Did that answer everything? Looked at that. Okay. What else did we have? Somebody else. Okay. Everything scrolls by so fast. Okay. Here we go. Come on. Is it in here? Oh, there it is. PANW. Request to take a look at Palo Alto Networks. This has had kind of a nice bounce off the low. Of course, you've got a high volume low that has not been tested at 111.09. Energy back up on this move back up here. Rather interesting. It has broken its trend line up. It's now coming back to that. As long as this thing stays above a 9-day moving average, you could possibly hold this thing. I just don't see that much money in it. 155 to 165, maybe 163, where resistance comes in and the selling line comes in. But, you know what? This is a company that continues to make me think that CEOs know absolutely nothing about technology. It's not that this company does so well. It's the other companies that compete against it that do other things and would be a great addition to the services from Palo Alto get absolutely no love, like FireEye and CyberEye, or CyberArk. I always wonder why this is kind of just a shield, a moat around your computers, why the other ones don't do any better. Especially when all we read about is everybody getting hacked. But we might be close to making some lows out here that might do well. Just a few pennies off the low on FireEye recently. So to me, there are probably better plays out here, and it's going to be in FireEye or Cyber, what is CYBR, which I think are better. Now, both of these kind of had kind of a bounce out here. If we made some kind of decent low in this market and proved me wrong about it, but until we get to about 2090, I don't suspect that I would be buying any of these. 2090 on the S&P cash, by the way, that I'll be buying any of these. But CyberArk and FireEye look much better than Pan W, and your being right or wrong is a matter of about $1 on Cyber Arc and FireEye. So those would be the ones I'm looking at. But my guess is that until the election's over, we put in some kind of shock low on the election. I don't think much is going on out there. Other stocks of interest is Deere & Company. This bounced a little bit. It's been bouncing off this $88 level 3 or 4 or 5 times. Today would be very interesting, since today is the first day when there's almost no volume of this thing bouncing higher. 2.5 million shares, and that is very low compared to previous moves out here. There is a long and huge gap that is a double gap. We've talked about those on this show. This is very close, but that $90 level, maybe 90.50, would be very interesting for a short play on John Deere. I think that the way this thing's setting up, you could have about 1 or 91 or 2 move back down to a high volume untested low, and that's going to be around $70. So, but even then, if it didn't get down there, it's fine. I suspect that you over time would see $74, and even sooner, I suspect a gap fill between $76 and $79 that goes back to the 19th. But we'll have to see. We need to get a little higher and no volume, but that $90 range right there could set up John Deere. Diamond Offshore, and of course, who wants to be in the offshore business these days when you can go a fracking and you don't have to have helicopters taking your workers out there to something may blow up. But you know, we've had a higher volume low in Diamond Offshore on the September 14th low than we did on the January 20th low by about 400,000 shares. It has not tested that January 20th low either. So I suspect we're going to get one more pullback in there. And at that point, you might want to think about looking long in crude. But I think, what do we have? Crude off 3.8 or 3.9% today. I don't see any real big upside to crude again until we see some of these lows in these offshore rigs tested out here. So that's probably giving us a little heads up about what's going on. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den. Can you comment? I did comment on FEYE. Thank you. Only for the money laundering business. Let's see if there's anything else out here. Soros is specified playing the lies. Okay, I think I got everything, hopefully. What else do we have out here? HLT is a mover today. This is Hilton Worldwide Holdings. It was one of the bigger movers at the open. It gapped up a little, but I don't think we can make a great deal out of that. Level 3 had earnings out this morning. It was a huge mover. A nice gap up to the highs. Lots of volume, but it is not being able to break the July 13th high. Level 3 Communications is a backbone provider. And I don't know what else you can say about that. They are not like your Comcast or your BIOS. They hook up the major cities to each other. And what is called the backhaul between all the major locations in the United States. I think they go to, maybe like 300 different towns. And then from then, another company picks up your internet and drags it to your house. But for the most part, these are the quiet, hidden backwaters of the internet. Nice gap up, though. Again, how many of these gaps on top of gaps are we having out here? This is a very gappy market, especially in equities. The gap down started on the 27th of July, did so with 7.5 million shares. We did gap up with almost 40 million shares so far today. Again, $57.59, he said, which is the July 13th. But man, you got a ton of volume coming up into that high. What a big move off these lows. And maybe there's a buyout or something. I haven't read the news on this one. Macy's. A lot of people trying to keep a look about what's going on out here. This thing is gapped up a little out here. But, man, these things are really winding up. My guess is we're just going to see these things gap up or gap down out of these lower highs and higher lows that are in many of these stocks out here. So no signal yet, but man, I think they're building steam. Right.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And I had a question to look at Facebook. Facebook got its hands caught in the cookie jar again on Friday. They have a thing called a news feed, and they buried their news feed until Saturday night on the election news on Friday. So between that and the CEO of Google coming out in WikiLeaks, trying to be part of the of a political party, wanted to be a head consultant for the election. You got a lot of stuff going on out here that has the Silicon Sultans knee-deep in this election and a choice and a chance maybe that they don't get the outcome that they want. But I've always worried about Google. about Facebook. Many of these companies have gotten their hands caught several times. Doesn't take long. If you do something on Twitter, everybody complains about it on Facebook. If you try to affect the election results on Facebook, they rat you out on Twitter, and of course Google and email and everything else. The internet's made it kind of hard to get by with a lot of stunts that would happen politically before, but very interesting to see the results. I think we're kind of very close to the top of the social network issues, and I'm thinking that there's some decent pullbacks. I know Facebook's going to come out with earnings. They should be okay, but I just don't think, as I said in Amazon, you've got to have somebody that hasn't bought Facebook before to buy it from you now. And I think everybody that's been along Facebook probably would. Amazon had its issues with spending. I don't think Facebook has those same issues. I just don't think that there's that much upside to Facebook on earnings. As I said, just about everybody that wanted to own it has probably owned it. It's the same problem with Apple. Everybody that kind of wants it kind of already had it. Going to be real tough to get the thing really rolling higher, no matter how big the earnings are out there. But my guess is that we're going to start seeing in this week the Facebook rollout, or not rollout, the conclusion of what we found out last time, which is them counting people watching a video for 2 or 3 seconds as a video watch and ad watch. Those are probably going to come in a lot closer now. And I think when they don't blow everything away, I think everything will be a lot different. What you do find out is people are using Facebook less and less. It is much more a product to be used on a desktop than on a phone, although people still doing that. WhatsApp, some of the other things out there that are available seem to be getting a lot more love than Facebook lately. So like I said, I probably wouldn't be short this thing. I just don't see a great deal much more higher. Does it get bounced to 133 or 135? It could. Could it go down $5? It could. $7. I just don't see a lot in this that changes anything, both fundamentally and technically out here. Everybody that wants it, there is always that time when everybody is as long as they can get. Short of a pullback where they can buy it again, it becomes very tough with a stock when everybody says that that's the stock to own. Where do you get the next buyer from? Facebook, I think, a victim of its own success, will know this week. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to, especially Facebook. And I'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.